Hello, everybody. I hope you're well. It's time for a new edition of GMMVX, the X podcast dedicated to blockchain, the place where the future of digital technology is being forged. GMMVX is every Tuesday and Friday in French and every Wednesday, like today, in English. So, are you ready to dive with me into the captivating world of blockchain, crypto, and NFT with my seasoned experts and guests who are shaping Web3 every day? Today, I'm with Arno, Head-on Protocol Ambassador and Web2, Web3, Web4, Web5 entrepreneur. Hello, Arno. How are you?
Hello, my friend. I am very well and excited to have this gym MvX because we have some great topics on the menu.
Yeah, definitely. It will be all focused on your MultiversX today. I will tell the menu in a few seconds. But before we welcome Joachim, co-founder of Gopa Labs, expert in tokenomics and poker. Hello, Joachim. How are you?
Good morning. Starting the day with technical issues. I can't hear Arno, so I'm going to leave and be right back in a second.
Oh, okay. So is it okay now?
Well, if Arno, can you try speaking?
Okay, can you repeat?
Sorry?
Arno, can you try
Yeah.
speaking?
Yeah.
No, I can't hear Arno, so I'll be right back.
Okay. And we are today with Philip, founder of Crypto Bay. And how are you, Philip?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Really nice today. I mean, it was fresh outside, but so it's allowed to wake you up faster. And yeah, I think today we have a lot of things to discuss, good subjects. I think a lot of builders are here to listen to what will happen with the sovereign shard and a lot of nice subject, I hope.
Yeah, definitely it will. So before giving you the program, I invite you all to put a like, a comment, and to repost the Spaces link to bring in all your followers. You can also share the link on your Telegram and Discord channels. We're never enough on GMMVX. And also, I'd like to say hi and thank you to the members of Club Privé GMMVX. We are already 42, 43 maybe, and the atmosphere is just on fire. So let's move on to the program. Maybe Joachim, can you check if technical issues are okay now?
Well, Arno, can you talk?
Arno, can you speak?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
also
no,
trying to boost the space.
no,
I'm writing a fucking tweet
no.
every time
I'm
to help
hearing,
me.
I'm hearing you, Arno. Well, good. You can go back to tweeting.
Good.
Okay, fine. If everything is okay, so let's move on to the program, which is once again full and varied. First of all, we'll speak about the release of the xExchange V3. After, we will receive Florian from Demiourgos and Midas xChain for an exclusive interview. And after, we will be receiving Robert Sasu, core developer of MultiversX team. We will speak about sovereign charts. It will be like an AMA. Many of you asked your question previously on different channels, on the comment, on the GMMVX Club Privé, but also on different channels. And so yeah, a lot of questions. We will try to figure out what are these chosen charts, the strength, the weakness, and the different application of them. So are you guys ready?
Yes.
But I think not enough people reposted the space. So please, guys, give us some strength and repost the Twitter Space link. Rismus is offering bread to all of you that like, repost, and comment the space. Okay, so guys, do it so we can be more and more. Let's go for the first part of this GMMVX. And you know what, guys? I will let you do it because I'm fucking tired. You, Arno, and Joachim wanted to speak about xExchange V3. So I let you the mic completely to describe what is this xExchange and what is new in this V3.
Yeah, great. So we're gonna do this in two parts. First, before talking specifically about xExchange V3, I think it's important to take a minute to go back to, what is a decentralized exchange? To us regular crypto users, using decentralized exchange has become a given, but exchanging value on a decentralized piece of software without the need of any intermediary is a mind-blowing progress for humanity, and it's not something that is simple for everybody out there. And the crypto revolution is not about, having progress in the hands of just a happy few. Blockchain is definitely about financial inclusion, freedom for the many, and this is why building simple products for the masses is important. xExchange is aiming to become the simplest on-chain exchange in the world. They have, with the V3, new changes, and it's all about making decentralized exchange pillars easier to understand so more people can join the financial revolution. It is a tough challenge because a decentralized exchange is a very complex financial piece of infrastructure. But in my opinion, it is a noble and fruitful opportunity to try to capture, as we have roughly 40% of humanity that is bankless and therefore unable to store or exchange value. So now that we have the big vision and the challenges around building a decentralized exchange, the MultiversX team has taken on the feat of making this magical piece of software easier for the masses to use. And I will let Joachim go deeper into what are the features and how have they improved on the previous version.
Thank you for this great introduction, Arno. So, xExchange V3 has had a serious revamp. There is no doubt. There's been a lot of thought, and to be honest, I think there's been a lot of feedback too from builders and users, as was discussed during the X Day conference, to make it as clear and simple as possible for users. One of the returning features that we're seeing implemented straight from the gateway is that the swap function, or trade as they call it, is put in the forefront. So on the header of the website, you'll have on one hand trade on its own, and then you have earn with that little arrow that indicates you that you can do meta bonding, staking, liquidity pools. So the idea is that for a regular user that only wants to swap the tokens, they are able to do so in a very simple way without being bombarded by information. Because for the people, well, I mean, the xExchange on mainnet is still live. But if you remember the landing page of xExchange, it talks to you about the old megs, the new megs, what energy is. There was so much information that you, as a regular user that doesn't have any megs or anything, just want to change some tokens, you have way too much information. Right now, the landing page is very simple with some big rectangles that tell you trade, stake, pool, farm, dual farm. And I'm suspecting will increase when we will see other features be added. The biggest feature is not only on the UI aspect, but also on the UX, which has been created by reworking the smart contracts of xExchange. And it is I don't want to say one click, but nearly the one transaction at least position creator. So how it works, you just pick a pool as of now pre-existing, but I want to believe you also can create your own pool by that. So you can, for example, pick UTKey EGLD, and then you decide if you just want to have it to the pool or if you want to stake it to a farm, and they explain to you that your APR increases from, this is obviously testnet numbers, from 0.18% APR all the way to potentially 4.26 if boosted. And then you can decide how you want to provide the liquidity. If you want to do it with dual tokens, or if you want to do it with any given token. And the beauty of this is that you don't no longer need to swap tokens to have the exact 50-50 amount you wanted to. You can simply pick one token that you have, and it doesn't even need to be the token of the pair. Like, as I was saying, like I'm doing EGLD UTK. Okay, I could pick USDC, put $1,000 of USDC, and it would automatically create the liquidity pool position, stake it in the farm position, and start earning me the farm benefits. This is a big milestone because there was a lot of complexity while doing all the different steps and making sure you had the tokens. And like once you have added the LP, you need to understand that you have LP tokens that you need to stake, etc. With now, there is a one-step process that asks you kind of like a questionnaire where you want to go. And by the time you've clicked on submit, all the transactions you need are done. In addition to that, we are also seeing there's also been teased quite a few things, but we've also seen that the energy has gotten a revamp. We've got rid of 6 zeros in the energy level, which I'm very happy for because having millions and millions was a bit confusing. So now you can reduce 6 zeros to the number you used to have on the mainnet xExchange. And the tiers now are more traditionally named, I would say, with names like bronze, silver, golden, diamonds, platinum, maybe. I don't remember exactly the tiers. And that was actually voted by the community on the xExchange Agora, where those tiers won. Lastly, we can see in the bottom page that there is quite a few other things that are coming. Obviously, meta bonding, and as it has been discussed, I'm not sure if we've discussed it in the English MvX, but we discussed it in the French. There is a new version of meta bonding that is in the work that seems to be more focused on educating you about the project and not just pressing a button and start earning a percentage of a token. Now there's going to be more interaction from what we've heard at least. We'll get more details later on. And the last big thing is obviously the governance. The Maya Exchange, when it was launched on one of the very first blogs, it was clearly communicated that Maya Exchange, now xExchange, should become a community exchange and governed by the community through MEX and now Energy. So we can expect more features allowing users to vote and impact xExchange in the months to come. So this, in addition with the DeFi wallet, the wallet extension that has been revamped, as Pepe caught early yesterday, we are seeing a massive improvement in user experience on the core products of MvX. But the big question, Arno, is this enough, and is that what people hoped?
That is a good question. I mean, even when you explain all the upgrade of the features so that they can become simpler, when I went on the testnet, you still have a lot of information. But again, this begs the question, is becoming a liquidity provider for everyone? Most likely no. because there are, you have risks. But most likely, the number of liquidity providers that we have today and the piece of software that we're going to have right now coming out in a few weeks, most likely, or months, I don't know, for xExchange v3, is setting the right path, about making things simpler. And most likely in a few years, we'll have even more simple, even simpler solutions. We need to remember that the blockchain infrastructure is still in its infancy, and in a few years we'll have safer infrastructure, and so we'll have easier products iterated and built upon it. So let's see. I think it's going to be an interesting learning, because the opportunity and the challenge of building such a complex solution and making it simpler for more people to use it and build a new financial system is a great opportunity to try and capture. And I don't know. I don't have numbers on how many people do liquidity providing, because this is the biggest challenge, to have a decentralized exchange with deep liquidity pockets. This is how the system becomes valuable to everyone. So I don't know what are the numbers today, but it will be interesting to compare how many people did become liquidity providers, did discover, what you could do with such piece of infrastructure, and how many tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, guys. We have DavyEgld here. I don't know if he can speak, but I would like, before we start the interview, to ask you a question. What do you think, guys, about the criticism voiced by DavyEgld in particular, but not only, who believes that xExchange should be more comprehensive, more complete, and maybe focus less on the interface? So before you answer, maybe DavyEgld, do you want to say a word about this? We spoke about it yesterday in French, but now in English it will be easier for you maybe to speak about it. And after, I will let Arno and Joachim to answer you about this.
Yeah, so hi guys. So, good
Hello,
morning.
Davy. Welcome.
Morning, Davy. How are you, man?
So I don't like the part that xExchange is taking for a clear reason. So I don't think that people are not providing liquidity because it's too complex from a UX perspective. And also, providing liquidity is not something that is easy, something that is rewarding. It's something that is very risky. So we have like a lot of data that says that, for example, on Uniswap with V3, that is an exchange with a lot of volumes, a lot of liquidity. A lot of volumes means a lot of fees, and despite that, so it's the best environment for providing liquidity. Like 55 or 60% of people don't make profit, like they only have losses, and other than that, like only a small percentage have like big profits, like they would make better profits from a lot of other opportunities. And the fact that this exchange is trying to normalizing, like making it extremely easy for people to provide liquidity on a DEX, is something that I don't like. So the common Joe, like the one that don't know anything about DeFi, don't know anything about blockchain tech, finance, and all of this, shouldn't have like the opportunity to invest in something that it doesn't know, looking like at percentages, thinking that it will like earn a lot, like you see maybe 30% APR on some pool, and you say, okay, let's go in. I learn 30% in 1 year, but maybe it doesn't know about impermanent loss. And also, if you don't focus a lot on capital efficiency, his loss will be maximized, because you need to have a lot of volumes that create a lot of fees, or you need to increase capital efficiency so that the liquidity that you have in the pools have the fewer impermanent loss. If you don't do these two, and in these 3 years, xExchange has done nothing on that, like you're basically saying, okay, I provide liquidity in my exchange, but I'm not doing anything to make the situation better for the ones that are providing liquidity. And how can you attract liquidity from big players that know what to do? Maybe they are market makers, maybe they are people that are experienced in DeFi, and they are the ones that on Uniswap, on
Okay,
GMX,
maybe.
etc., provide liquidity.
Thank you, Davy, and thank you for jumping in. It was not planned at all. So maybe you said a lot of things, and all of them are very interesting. So maybe let's try to give the word to many people. And so after I will give you the mic back, Davy. Arno, I see your hands is raised. What do you want to answer to Davy about this? I know you don't totally agree with him.
Yeah, but I let Joachim start because I
Oh
think on
yeah,
some
sure. I saw your hands.
fundamental level, I'll answer after.
Okay, so go ahead, Joachim.
Yeah, so I'll be quick, but I'm
And just
joining.
guys, for you to know, my bad. Sorry to interrupt. Just for you to know, I said Florian that we will start the interview with maybe 5-10 minutes late. So we have 15 minutes maximum to speak about this topic. So just now you know. Go ahead, Joachim.
So, I agree strongly with you, Davey, and it's a topic we've had in the past with Arno. As you say, the exchange just shows a certain APR, and now you can only do with one click. You can deploy a position that exposes you to impermanent loss, and that shows you interesting APRs. But there is close to no mention or education on impermanent losses. And one Arno says that any user should be allowed, should provide liquidity so we get more liquidity. I do not think regular users adding a few hundreds here and there, even though if it's obviously useful, isn't what will change the deepness of the liquidity pools. In addition, when a lot of that incentives to add liquidity is to increase, let's be honest with ourselves, the TVL of the protocols just to bump up in the leaderboards. But I feel this can be better achieved by having more tokens rather than concentrating more and more liquidity on very few by creating and facilitating the use of them.
Yeah, so I'm going to answer to that. I completely agree with you guys on the fact that we need education. It's not wise to have. It's not wise to jump into liquidity providing if you are not aware of the risks, and there are some. But I think I see this on a long-term perspective, and I always take in count that we are very early and we are building products today, and we have no idea where we will be in 3 years, in 5 years. And so when I'm saying that 40% of humanity is unbanked, and everybody should have the right to store wealth, to activate the value of the time that it spent creating value, be able to store value. This is to me the financial revolution that we are trying to bring to the world with blockchain. And so, yes, of course, today the products are too complicated. Yes, today they are not fit for mass adoption, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to solve those issues. It's not because it's complicated, it's not because it's not doable now that it shouldn't be doable, and we shouldn't try to capture the opportunity. So that's why I'm saying what MultiversX is trying to do with xExchange v3, making it simpler, is a good start. It's not enough, but it's a good start. And to another point that Davy raised, I don't think that xExchange should become a piece of financial infrastructure that tackles every issue. Blockchain is an interoperable technology, and so if xExchange v3 is a simple layer to use, connected with other more complex layers, that's fine. That's fine by me.
Davy, if you want to answer this, go ahead.
So, like, let's say, for example, okay, we have like max token, like, and people saw amazing returns. Like, I remember that at the time, like, I was saying to people, like, take care, because you have like maybe 10,000% APR, but if the supply is growing that much, the market cap would be that high that is not sustainable. People will say, no, it's not possible. The token will keep going up. I'm investing, and people like were wrecked. Like, I don't like to be. I was right to those people. I never did, but like some people like don't think enough when they're doing financial decisions, and I don't like the focus on making such important financial decisions, such as providing liquidity in xExchange v3. Like, it's not, in my opinion, the focus. Like, the focus should be on user experience, on trading, and not on providing liquidity. It's also on another page. Like, I don't like AMM DEXs, and I think that the natural the natural path of DEXs will go towards like market makers controlling liquidity in a wiser way compared to normal people managing liquidity.
Joachim, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that is very interesting. That what you're saying, David, that you believe the future of DeFi might actually be better off by going away from MMAs. Because I don't know, you say there's one thing you say like you want it to be less complex, but I don't think complexity is the problem I'm having with it. Is more the risk. I find LPs to be too risky for most users, myself included. And no matter how easy you make it, or how deep the liquidity is, because the deeper the liquidity, the less rewards you get. So there's always a balance between risk and reward. And as David said with Uniswap, we've seen that there's very, very few cases where you actually are positive by providing liquidity, other if there's been additional incentives added by inflationary tokens. But yeah, that's topic for another day. But so, what would be, Davey? What would you say is the biggest missing piece from a trading experience on xExchange?
So, for example, like I like a lot the work that is being done from DX25, because concentrated liquidity, like, is not the tool that, like, people think that concentrated liquidity decreases impermanent loss. It's the opposite. But if you are wise enough, and like you are a market maker and you are able to manage liquidity in the best way, you are going to
Can
make
you guys
profit.
explain just in very simple words what is a concentrated liquidity for everyone?
In a few words, okay, I'll try. So basically,
Challenge accepted.
normally in a normal DEX, in a AMM DEX, the pool works in a way that there are two tokens that are distributed in all the ranges for all prices. So, for example, I have 100 gold, 100 USDC, and when people buy one gold, the ratio moves so that I have more USDC and less GLD. We concentrate the liquidity. is a lot more complex, so that you can concentrate your liquidity in a specific range, so that when people trade, the trade goes towards your position and not the ones that are wider. And this way you are exposed to more impermanent loss, but at the same time, the more trades goes to you, and so you earn a lot more fees. And the more fees you earn, the more, if you manage your liquidity well, you earn more. And okay, so back to the discussion. So what we saw on Uniswap v3 is that common people don't know how to manage liquidity. So I don't know, my father that goes to manage liquidity on xExchange or Uniswap v3 in concentrated liquidity or anything else, like, will probably lose money. So who can tap into providing liquidity? People that know what you're doing, people that have specific software that manage liquidity, or that have time every day to manage their position. And so every time the pool moves, the ratio moves for their own position on concentrated liquidity, they know how to remove liquidity and or adjust liquidity. And this way they can profit. That's what we saw on Uniswap v3. Like the few that were able to profit a lot were people with specified software, or that had like a lot of knowledge on liquidity. And those people, like, we could name them market makers. So for example, the S25 had in their plans to create specified software that manage liquidity of users automatically, so that user can do concentrated liquidity that has the cons of like having a lot of impermanent loss if not well managed. So you have to manage it a lot, and the more you manage it well, the more profit you do. For example, I don't provide liquidity on xExchange, but once the DS25 will implement a swap aggregator, I'll start providing liquidity, like, and create content explaining how and why. So well, that's it.
Okay, thank you about this. So Arno or Joachim, Philippe as well. Maybe you want to say a word about xExchange, the vision about the interface, maybe against the complete features that maybe traders are expecting.
I mean, it's for me, it's a debate that the community on MultiversX has since quite a while, to be honest. A lot of people expect things from the team, and a lot of people say that people should build. So, like say Davy, there is already some exchange that provides some advanced features, and I hope that xExchange will provide them in the future also. I don't know yet, because they say that not all the features are already there. They are talking about the limit sell and buy since a while, so I guess it should be soon there, I hope at least. But something that interests me more, I guess, would be the facility and the documentation for builders to be capable to exploit this liquidity. So that means how easy will it be to integrate, to add this liquidity to the future Sol protocol from Atom? Or as a builder, what can I do with this liquidity? The documentation will be there, because we try to teach also like the users. That's really important, and that's what the discussion was about. Let's be fair. And I think it's a part I trust that they are quite advanced. They will release that in the next weeks. I hope it will go fast. I had some hope from the Daimler Aron, but seems it took a little longer. But beyond that, I think we need to focus also on how to integrate that and how it can be used by the rest of the ecosystem. Because even me, for example, providing liquidity to the xExchange, I understand the concept, understand the thing for the swap, but is it benefiting other liquidity provider, and how? I think that's something that's regarding the sharding, regarding the interoperability, that they are pushing forward the way to be able to pay fee with ESDT that automatically swap. I think that's an aspect that we should also take in consideration for the future. And that's also a point we have no answer at the moment.
Okay, Joachim, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a bit similar to what Philippe was saying and what Foudre was saying yesterday, is xExchange, because is a core product of MultiversX, is one of the most used apps, if not the most used apps for DeFi interactions. And in in my opinion, and that's one we share with Food, instead of having to rebuild everything themselves, why couldn't they become the decentralized finance hub of MvX? As Philip says, using already existing solutions, for example, the Ash Swap or xExchange aggregator in the swap function. Even we could even talk about cross-chain swaps with X Money, like we have on X Portal. Why not have an easy access to perps with Ash perps directly from the dashboard, and having this one dashboard that you can customize to fit your needs if you're a regular user and just want to swap and base and staking, or if you're a more advanced user and you want to have access to Ashperp, Hatom, etc., then you could pick your own dashboard. And I feel like this would be much more beneficial instead of creating redundant solutions that have already been built by other projects.
If we remember, it was what was supposed to be done with Xfabric also. I mean, we are still waiting on this miraculous dashboard where people can create their own dashboard for their services, and the benefits of the platform and the visibility of the xExchange, or Xfabric at least. Since I think a year, I don't know if anybody here have more information. There was supposed to be a private beta or something like that.
Yeah.
I registered, I don't know, last year.
Ono and I have tested the private beta of xFabric. We even presented it during a space, but as of now, it's let's put it simply, it's very basic, and there is it's kind of a very light like Wix website creator with a few Web3 features like create an NFT and stuff like that. But the marketplace that you're talking about, where projects would be able to add their own extensions and even monetize them, isn't live, and we haven't seen anything from it. And as I haven't checked for a while, but I haven't seen any new changes on xFabric or improvements since we started the alpha testing. Have you, Anna?
And last intervention. Arno?
I'm sorry, I'm not listening, guys. I'm handling something besides.
No worries. So yeah, I haven't seen any big evolutions of xFabric recently, which was, as you were saying, was supposed to be like this very, very easy onboarding Web 2 to Web 3 solution. It has potential, but we're not there yet, that's for sure.
Okay. Davy, thanks a lot for jumping. Maybe stay with us for the interview of Florian, but also for the discussion after about sovereign charts. Maybe you have questions for Robert, and he's here to answer all of them. Well, I hope. And thank you, Arno and Joachim and Philip, for this overview of xExchange V3. Now we will start the Florian's interview. Hello, Florian. Can you hear me?
Yes, all good. Hello, everybody. Really glad to be here after
Same.
a long time. I've been shooting in the past month, in, so to say, in real world, a little bit off chain, and I'm so happy to be back on blockchain again. Really missed all the activity there.
It's your first time in GMMVX, so I'm very happy to receive you today. We met, and you met Arno as well at X Day 2023 at Bucharest. We played poker and so on, but we never received you for an interview or maybe just speaking on my spaces. So it's a real pleasure to have you here, since you have many different projects that you're building with your team. First of all, and because this is what we do here, even before speaking about the projects, the blockchain, the sovereign charts, and so on, can you tell us more about you, your background, even before you entered Web3?
Of course. I come from advertising as a copywriter back in the first decade. of 2000 until 2010, I've been writing ads and promoting brands, doing slogans, directing commercials, writing commercials, and brand identity. With this experience, I got in love with the cinema and I migrated into the film industry in the second decade. And in the past 15 years, I have been doing that. And from there, from the film industry, like any producer or director, we have this challenge of, fighting and networking for the budget of a movie. It's not, it's quite expensive to make a movie, but it's also quite rewarding. We are all hyped now with the Dune release. And of course, that's a blockbuster on which my associate worked, in fact, as a global layout of from DavyEgld, Double Negative London, with his team. So in the past 15 years, we have accumulated lots of experience in managing teams, building teams, and doing entertainment industry in real world. We believe in this industry and the profits that generates, especially because it's a passive income for life. That's why you see rich directors, because once they release a movie, they receive residual incomes from all the screenings of from the TV streaming platforms, anything monetized, YouTube royalties, big screens, and so on. So we thought in the dawn of DeFi back in 2020, 2021, as you remember, before that, we didn't had much of a DeFi. We only had, crypto market, buy and sell, trading, and so on. We have realized the potential of DeFi in the last bull run, and we simply envision an ecosystem that will be directly connected with the real world entertainment business, producing fiat in the real world that will come back on the blockchain as a support, economical support for the growth of the DeFi ecosystem. So
Okay. So
this
that's
is
a
the
yeah,
vision.
that's a very interesting path from real world to the blockchain. You to be completely honest, Florian, if I had to explain what you do, I think I wouldn't be able to, because you're doing so many different things with Demiourgos, Vesta Finance, and Midas xExchange. So we will try to explain the different part of your different projects, and maybe let's start by the first one. It was Demiourgos, correct?
Yes, actually, it's pretty easy to understand
That's
the
why you're here. So,
because when
so yeah, so maybe we start by Demiourgos. What is this? And what you're building with Demiourgos, in a few words, just for everyone to understand what's your vision about this and what you achieved already.
we wanted to make a decentralized company that will become a vertical business integration, half on the blockchain, half in the real world, and we simply desire to engage the community 50% in the company. That's how we started. We have minted a collection of snakes that represents half of the ownership on the blockchain for the company. And with that, with those funds, we have made the company. 1 month later, it's a shareholder company.
So just to be clear, the snakes, and it's real questions I ask myself for months now. So I'm really happy. So these snakes that are pretty expensive, but they have a very big floor price and very big volume. So these snakes are like equity NFT, we can say.
Not really equity, because they can become equity eventually under some terms, meaning if any holder of the snakes has minimum 2% from the shares of the company, which can be counted on the blockchain. In other words, if you have 40 snakes, you can be added in actual the company papers as a legit shareholder.
Okay, okay. And so these snakes are were sold to build this company, which goal is to produce movies, correct?
Entertainment. Movies is the
Entertainment.
spearhead, but
Okay.
also games. Also games. We have a gaming division, and the rest are games. And we have about 15 titles already. Some of them are already on the blockchain. I believe 5 games already there, and another 10 in development.
So Star, I'm sorry to interrupt. Really, it's not. I really want to understand. So Star Games is part of your group?
Exactly. We own
Okay.
Estat Games.
Okay,
And
I
they
didn't
are
know.
our gaming division.
Okay, because I saw them on Twitter many times. I spoke with them, but I didn't know it was part of Demiourgos Holdings because it's the name of the company, as far as I know. Okay, so movie, gaming, and what else on the company? Are there other industries or not?
These are the main industries with all the side businesses related, like film studios, film rental, film distribution, game development, and social casino. We work with Uniplay, anything that goes with the entertainment industry hand in hand. We also took over Age of Zalmoxis, and we are
Yeah, I
now.
saw it a few months ago. It was a big announcement because Age of Xymosis were building like a very a high quality game for months, and we learned a few months ago that you decided to take them over. Can you explain us why they decided to give up this project and why you decided to take it over? It's interesting.
Well, it's quite simple. After 2 years of development in the bearish market, they reached a bottleneck point where everything stagnated in the past 6 to 8 months before our takeover. So no progress registered, due to various other reasons. And eventually that beautiful community behind Age of Zalmoxis, which proved to be one of the, early projects on MultiversX, we decided to step in and offer a new vision, a new approach with a clear progress line, and so to say, to deliver the game in time.
And so, can you tell us when Age of Zalmosis game will be released now? Because you are the boss of it.
We cannot make an official announcement right now, but what we can say is that in this weekend we're gonna showcase for the first time progress on Age of Zalmoxis, and we're gonna post that over Twitter and everything with Unreal 5 development and progress on our side, and with a clear roadmap in which we have discussed this in our community spaces. Our goal is to release a single player version
Okay.
by the end of this year, and the actual development will start around April next month with a dedicated team. Until that moment in April, we build approach, the roadmap, the strategy, the gameplay, and the concept and the story behind the quest, and so on and so on. It's a lot of research and development. And the game will be modular with a single player approach on the blockchain first, followed by a co-op at a later time, and finally multiplayer at a even later time, simply because resources for a multiplayer advanced game are
Sure.
really expensive and
About the
demanding.
servers. Okay.
Exactly.
Arno, I see your hand. Is it a question related to the game or something else? Because yes. Okay. So go ahead, brother.
Yeah. Hi, Florian. It's nice to speak again.
Hello.
Yes, I have a question. When you took over Age of Zalmoxis, what did you do with the team? Because I remember that they had a very large team working on the game.
Well, that was one of the problems. They had no team left. So
Okay. So people left over time, or?
exactly, due to difficult management in difficult times, and lack of management, so to say, the team in the previous 6 to 8 months before our takeover, there was no more team left. During that time frame.
Wow.
So we
Okay,
had to step in and build a new team and continue the progress.
Wow, that must have been super hard. How did the transition go? Because if you had no team, you had to do some, I don't know, some digging everywhere to find everything.
Actually, we are very, very lucky to have our my associate and the CEO of Demiourgos. I'm the CEO of Midas, which is a project, a side project under the umbrella, the big umbrella.
We will
So
speak
Paul,
about it. No worry.
yeah, so Paul has have a very, very extended experience in Unreal 5, licensed to build in Unreal 5. He did that before with teams of hundreds of people under his management, actually. So we are lucky to have him with this vast experience, both in gaming development as well as people management and business management.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now let's speak about Vesta Finance. As far as I know, as far as I heard, you were the first to create and to release liquid staking. Well, this is something that I heard. Can you explain us what is Vesta Finance? How you built this liquid staking? Why you were the first? And actually, everybody now is using Aron. What was the relationship with the MultiversX team about this innovation that they say it was an open source code? Can you explain us this sequence, which is important? And we spoke about it on MvX several times, but now you're here, so I would like to have your opinion and vision about this.
Of course. It's very simple, like I mentioned earlier. Before the liquid staking, which we released in December, and the development started in October at X Day, Paris X Day. I remember very well that moment. And in August, September, we developed our tokenomics, Ouroboros, which were launched 1 year later. We have realized that we have huge, enormous development costs by outsourcing a dev team. So we changed the approach, and we have decided to form a development company, which became the coding division. So we have minted the coding division. The community supported us, and back then we have raised about. We put our own funds, of course, me and Paul, about half of the funds needed from our side, and the other half from the community. And we have managed to secure funds to hire 2 senior developers in Rust for the following year. And with that, our main purpose was to build the tokenomics for Euro. But in the same time, we were learning about Lido. If you remember, last year in September, Ethereum migrated to the version 2, and the Lido liquid staking was the first liquid protocol in the world. We were amazed about the potential of the liquid staking, finding about Lido in September. 1 month later, we have decided to develop that concept on MultiversX, and actually we have analyzed the Ethereum approach, on the code for the liquid staking, and we have adapted on MultiversX by introducing a couple of different changes that we already had in the Euro tokenomics. So we came up with auto-staking compound, daily auto-staking compound on the staking EGLD. So we have added that as an extra unique approach on our liquid staking. And on top of that, we have asked ourselves, okay, what are we going to do with this liquid token? So we received the biggest staking reward, daily compounded, but what are we going to do with it? So we can mint, but it's not enough. We need to build a whole ecosystem that will give meaning and purpose to the liquid staking token. And that is how we came up. We need to build a DEX. And that DEX has to be exclusively built on the liquid staking. So all the pairs in the DEX and all the vaults and the farms and the rewards have to be conceived and developed in relation with the liquid token. That is how we came up with the Vesta DEX. So we have released first the liquid staking back in December, 20 December last year. And then we have started the development part for the DEX, which came up about 5 months later. And with the DEX, we have realized that we now have a unique ecosystem in the whole DeFi and crypto space. As far as I know, back in last year, June, there was no DEX and now ecosystem built exclusively on liquid staking, in which you can make pools with different other tokens, swaps, build farms, vaults on top of it, and develop a lending platform and a whole ecosystem based on liquid staking exclusively. And this is how we naturally evolved with baby steps from smaller approaches to smaller approaches, identifying necessities. So we have identified necessities that we have came back with solutions. And I believe everything grow up organically and eventually transformed in our own vision of autonomous ecosystem, which is sovereign shard.
And just before we speak about sovereign shards, of course, it will be at the menu. Were you a little mad at maybe MultiversX team or Atom or that today everybody's using Atom protocol liquid staking and not a lot is using yours that you developed by yourself with your funds and obviously before Atom protocol. So what do you think about this, or you don't care and you just move on?
Well, it's quite simple right now. About 1 year ago, in February, I had an unfortunate escape for which I apologized in relation with some players where I felt, bad treatment and so on. It was not professional from my side to go in that way. The subject closed, but it had nothing to do with competition, only with the human character. Anyway, subject is closed. I made a mistake. I apologize for that. But other than that, speaking purely, it's a complementary product. What the competition offers is absolutely has nothing to do with what we offer. We simply offer a totally different approach on the market, in which, first of all, we are backed by gold. So we have a liquid staking ecosystem, which is not ready. It will be ready once sovereign shard is released. In relation with the gold stable coin, which is unique in the whole world, because what makes it unique is the transparency and the license and the legality that we have built it in the past 8 years to prove the gold reserves and to work with the oracles from Umbrella and with a big company of lawyers that is doing regularly audits in the real world to prove the gold reserves that is baking the token. And for us, this is the purest form of blockchain DeFi, because the whole purpose is not to use fiat money, which are printed, endlessly. And gold is the only thing that we trust, and we can prove that gold existing. And that's what makes gold a stable coin, powerful in our vision. And this is how we are different, because we offer a liquid economy based on liquid staking EGLD and upcoming liquid Bitcoin, of course, which will...
Let's speak about this gold pegged stablecoin. It's a GSC, correct?
Exactly. We have released that as a standard coin, which means the price is given by the demand and the offer in the pool by the community. And we have mainly tested the relation in the ecosystem, the economical relation with other tokens and with the vaults, with the farms, and so on. Furthermore, we have a dig into the licenses and the possibility to make it a legal stablecoin. We have MiCA regulation and we have some requirements in there. So based on a Romanian law issued by, National Bank of Romania, we can have a utility stable coin right now, but we cannot have a payment stable coin because we are waiting for the MiCA law next year. So it's a utility stable coin with a purpose to be used on the blockchain in pools, in swaps, in blockchain rewards, in staking, in vaults, and any kind of DeFi use case except payment. So you cannot pay with GSC yet, but you can build a whole ecosystem on it. And that is why it works amazingly perfect with the MultiversX full ecosystem, because we're gonna list GSC with EGLD in a consistent pool, and that will actually double the volume of EGLD from our purpose. The volume of Midas, actually, let's say we have a $1,000 volume on the whole sovereign shard, okay? That volume will pass through EGLD, so everything we do on Midas, it will go through EGLD, which means our volume on Midas is doubled in the ecosystem of MultiversX, if you understand what I am saying. The exit from the sovereign shard will be exclusively through EGLD. So any kind of volume we will build in there will help the whole ecosystem, especially that we made a space with our Uniplay. We have a smart contract already developed and tested and proven on smart contract on DevNet, where we actually hit 1,000 transactions per second.
Okay. Just last thing about the gold-pegged stablecoin. You had a target liquidity for 1st of March of 20 kilos of gold in GSC. Are we there or not yet?
Yes, we are already there. We are days away. Unofficially, my personal target is to launch it this Monday, officially on the blockchain. But we are now waiting with this small delay of Denver meeting. The whole, our team also part of our American freelancer in our team, they've been in there also. Umbrella been in there, MultiversX been in there, Bidly been in there. So we are now following up with the progress. Everything goes well on the DevNet, and the 20 kilos already exist. We have a nice incentive partner program with real world companies, KYB, under KYB, and private persons, private individuals under KYC, that they can join our gold tokenization program by receiving up to 50% of their gold on the blockchain in the form of a locked LP that will produce passive income for them. In other words, they become liquidity providers on the blockchain with GSC and either Euro or EGLD, which they will have to buy, and receive that locked LP that will produce daily rewards for them.
Okay, very interesting. Feel free, Arno, Joachim, Philippe, but also guys from the listeners, if you have any questions about the different products that Demiourgos Holdings, so the big company, is building, feel free to ask your questions by raising your hands or by just writing on the comment section. So maybe let's now speak about MvX Chain. Why did you decide to launch your sovereign shards?
Well, from the first, we have envisioned our token Euro. From the first time we conceived the tokenomics as a sovereign token destined for gas fee. So we deliberately created an extremely scarce token, which now we only have about 400,000 units in the market and 2 million units to be generated in daily minting by the smart contract in 5 years. And the whole idea was to put a buy pressure on this token on our own blockchain, where we deliver a multitude of dApps and fintech and DeFi services and
It's very interesting the way that you explain. When I ask why did you launch a sovereign shard, you start by saying to give utility to my token. And of course, I will let you continue about the other utilities and I think all the other motivations in building this sovereign shards. But it's very interesting because it reminds me all these exchange tokens like crypto.com, Binance, and so on, that launched a token. And without any utilities, it was not sustainable. And so they decided to launch their own blockchain. And so that's why I think it's funny. What do you think about this? So when you launched the Oro initially, there were not utilities enough.
Exactly. We have to learn. We don't reinvent the wheel. We have to learn from the others. So we already had this entertainment vision where we launched 20 games on Android, on PC, on everything. Just click on those games and play it and earn some rewards in there. And for any transaction, any click, any action, you have to pay a minimum gas fee, 1 cent. And this is the main utility. So our purpose is to launch 100 apps, different. We can give you an exclusive information right now in this space, first time heard. We have also acquired Refracto. Refracto has won the hackathon reward for real world utility real estates, and it's much more than that. They tokenize real estates with a very amazing platform, which is up and running already. But more than that, they tokenize any startup business in a very smart way. So anyone who has a project that want to be tokenized, being it a business, a building, I don't know, a fintech, a product, they can tokenize it through Refracto. So this is another dApp beside the games. Like for example, X Castle under Start Games sometimes hits 5,000 transactions per day, 8,000 depends. We are about to launch a football manager that is conceived to make a lot of transactions per second by scouting players, forming a team, assembling it, making changes, substitutions, and so on and so on. And finally, Uniplay, I was saying earlier, they are a social casino. You don't play casino because we don't like casinos too much, because of the addictive and, the laws behind it and so on. You play for fun. You spin some things, you have NFTs there, you have a blockchain universe playing a social casino in which you earn a virtual token that values nothing. It's just the pleasure of playing, but we have leaderboards. And on those leaderboards, in the first quarter, we're going to offer a car. You can win a BMW in the first quarter for 3 months leaderboards. Then you can earn weekly iPads, iPhones, and other tech products. You can win daily crypto rewards like NFTs, like tokens, like EGLD, Oro, any other tokens weekly, just by playing for fun and placing yourself in a leaderboard. For that, you need a gas fee for the spin, okay? Because the game is free to play, but it's on the blockchain. So playing that game, you have to hit 2 transactions per second. One transaction is the spin that happens in the game, and the other transaction if you won or not, if it's a win or a lose.
Thank you for your transparent and honest answer, Florian. Joachim, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's interesting how you are presenting the Midas sovereign shard, because from a lot of documentation, posts, etc., for me, and maybe I'm the only one, but when I'm reading the description too of your Twitter profile, it says, for liquid Bitcoin, DeFi economy, staking, DEX, lending, NFT marketplace, launchpad, and more, there's very little, if no talk at all, about gaming, which you seem to use as the main narrative for the sovereign shard. So what difference from the main chain can we expect, other than the fact that transaction fees are going to be played in Oro?
Well, a lot of games is mentioned with the purpose of providing volume and a pleasant experience on the blockchain. So we have this gaming component, and we didn't update the Twitter account. We're gonna update that soon, including the gaming component. And as mentioned earlier, a lot of real-world vertical business connections in which people can engage in DeFi and blockchain experience in connection with some real-world utilities. This is the simplest definition I can give, offer to the people as many experience possible, starting with gaming, starting with fintech, starting with the film industry. They can be part of a film project, starting with the tokenization of real world assets like real estates, buildings, cars. We have now a project in development with Formula One presenters from national television. They want to tokenize that show and make a podcast about financial education in relation with expensive cars from Formula One, So there is a lot of potential in the real world. Everybody start to open their ears for the blockchain and DeFi technology. And our purpose is to give them the necessary means to tokenize anything they wish in the real world on MultiversX through sovereign shard. So it's our duty to launch this white label, if you wish, in which everybody can customize their own sovereign shard. That's an option. And it will be open source and available to everybody who wishes to join the sovereign shard. Or the other option is to join our own sovereign shard, where we offer this experience from entertainment, real world tokenization, and so many other things.
Guys, you can answer maybe Joachim if you want to rebound, or Arno
Yeah.
for another question, as you wish.
It's going to be a quick one. If we compare to other, because obviously sovereign shards haven't yet launched on mainnet on MvX, but we can compare it to other blockchains. Like I'm going to use Cosmos for this example with the app chains, which sovereign shards have that similarity in a way that you can customize things to meet a specific need, have a tendency to be very specific in solving one.
Sorry, it's really interrupt.
Can you hear me now?
Joaquin is really interrupting. I don't know if it's only for me.
We could not hear you for maybe 5 seconds, so start again.
Okay, I'll be quick. Similar to other chains, sovereign shards have the possibility to be very customizable, as you said. And what we've seen on chains like Cosmos is that the most successful app chains are the ones that are very specific, solving a very specific use case, because they have been designed for that purpose and that purpose only. What will you do to ensure that you offer, as you're saying, like that tailored experience that is better than main chain? Because that's the main difference, right?
From our point of view, it is not at all, because we have this privilege from the main chain to build an autonomous ecosystem inside the mother ecosystem. So we are a universe in a multi-universe, if you wish. So there is no competition, because as I mentioned earlier, everything we do on Midas sovereign shard will have to pass through EGLD. So if you want to go outside sovereign shard, our sovereign shard, we do all the transactions there per second, everything, all the experience, all the DeFi, all the fintech, all the rewards, everything you want. If you want to monetize that, you have to buy EGLD and go to the mother chain. So actually we are in direct relation with the mother chain, in which our volume is played again on the MultiversX blockchain as an exit, as a bridge, two-way bridges. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. My main question is, how do you differentiate yourself from the main chain?
Well, by building our own unique approach in entertainment. First of all, we come with the movie industry, vertical business. That's a difference. Second of all, we come with our unique gaming products, which will be only on Midas, you know. And further of all, there are several unique dApps and approaches, like, for example, Refracto, I mentioned earlier. And we have a couple of other projects in development related to podcast, televisions, and Formula One, as I may have mentioned. So we are building our own unique approach that will be on Midas alone as an experience on blockchain.
Okay,
Florian,
thank you.
Florian, I have a question for you. As you said at the beginning, when you introduced yourself, you painted yourself as a brand builder, and well, in the MultiversX ecosystem, you know, we have two predominant communities. One is Romanian, and the second one would be French. When I question French people about the Demiourgos ecosystem, they don't have a lot of clarity. And when you explain to us all your projects, you guys are some of the, you know, most aggressive and ambitious builders in the ecosystem. So my question is, are you aware that you know, there is on your end a lack of visibility towards I don't know, maybe what is 30 or 40% of the MultiversX community, and how do you want to address that?
Thank you for the question. Really, a really valuable question. Actually, our whole PR approaching and user experience and branding, it's quite simple. We want to have a full product, so we took time to build, so we can advertise properly when Sovereign is ready. We pack it really nice and go with the big boys in the worldwide marketing, where we're gonna actually engage and pay. We have a generous advertising fund that is it was not touched so far. So our approach is first to build and then to advertise. We believe that work come first, and from our point of view, it would have been a mistake to make a hype before the full product is released. And actually, it has proven that our decision was the right one, because our community of about 1,000 people, some of them are, you know, unhappy because, you know, building takes time and we have some delays, and we are lucky that they love us, they support us, we love them. But imagine if that happened at a worldwide level, going aggressive marketing and advertising and, you know, encountering some delays. That will hurt, you know, the whole branding. So we rather prefer to build everything up and running, 90% there, and go full force in marketing.
Okay, thanks for that, Florian. It was very clear.
Thank you, Florian, and we welcome Robert. Hello, Robert. How are you?
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Oh, there is an echo, but we are good. There is an echo.
An echo in my side?
Yes. So just try to fix this, so it will be more pleasant. So Florian, what's the next milestones that you're expecting for Midas X chain? Because you have a roadmap that is released, and you can find it on the white paper. Are you late? Are you on time? When will be the sovereign shards live? And maybe can you explain us which dApps are already integrated on it or will be? Yeah, give us an overview of Midas xExchange. What will it be used for, and when it will be released, and so on.
Right. Hello, Robert. Really nice to see you again here. And to answer this question, we are now on schedule. We are waiting for the multiverse release of USDT gas fee token that will come in a short period of time. It's on the pipeline. And from our side, the Genesis smart contract for the sovereign, it's done and tested. We have to, tweak it, adjust it, play more with it. And all the other dApps are ready to deploy in a matter of days on the sovereign once it's ready. But before that, we have to go in a full run of audits with the ARDA and another auditor. This will start very soon. In next week, in Monday or Tuesday, we start the whole audits for everything. We have audits for, DEX and for the security issues and for the DavyEgld. Now, in the meantime, we have built more dApps. We want to audit everything top to bottom before deploying on sovereign. This will take about between 4 and 6 weeks, so during this March. And we are looking to hopefully middle of April, end of April, depends on the USDT gas fee release, to go in testnet and start testing with the community and building from there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Arno, Joachim, and Philippe, do you have maybe a last question for Florian before we start the discussion about sovereign charge with Robert and of course with Florian if he wants to stay with us?
I just have one
Sure.
question, maybe regarding the testnet phase that you just talked about. Is it something you will do on the public one, or it's something that you plan to do on the private one, simulating sovereign shard or whatever insight that you have?
Thank you for the question. We're gonna do internal testnet with our team and supervision by MultiversX team. We also work with Bitly for the nodes part, and we're gonna test that internally, and we're gonna go community testnet minimum 2 weeks, 3 weeks once the internal tests are finished and done, and we are happy with those. We're gonna 100% engage the whole community for the sovereign testnet or devnet when it's done, when it's ready and available. And only after that, we're gonna go live mainnet. We really need community engagement.
Well, I hope you will come back and tell us when things are ready. Good job.
Yeah, Florian, what is the one thing that you I don't know, maybe milestone product that is going to change everything for the Demiourgos ecosystem? And you can't answer launching the sovereign shard.
Well, please remember this question seriously and ask it again next year. Personally, I believe that people totally underestimate the power of the film industry. I am now 90% to wrap the first movie made on blockchain. Just a couple of days of shooting this March. The fund, everything is transparent in the air. We're gonna announce it transparently. The budget was 300,000 euros for the shooting and wrapping this film production. Again, from MultiversX, and we're gonna advertise that worldwide. Imagine that we're gonna be in festivals, guaranteed Class B festival, 100%, dozens of them worldwide, and hopefully some A-class festivals that we're gonna see, if possible, this summer. My expectations are minimum 5 million euros revenues, box office for this movie, and aiming to between 10 and 20 millions worldwide box office with this 300K invested. It may sound like a boom or not realistical, or but let's speak again. In 1 year, the premiere will be March next year. Until that time, we build momentum, we build interviews everywhere, critics in the big magazines. We have partnerships with, for example, magazines from Hollywood, with the festivals. I have 14 international awards. I've been into festivals. I know the exposure in there. Everybody gonna write about us in a way or another. It depends how good is the movie. But everybody will write about MultiversX blockchain and the returns that will generate. So if we are able to generate minimum 10 times the investment from blockchain with the fiat revenue back on the blockchain, of course, we buy gold, we increase the gold stablecoin liquidity on the blockchain, we list that with DavyEgld and Euro, and with the money from the movie industry, we airdrop the profits to the community, and everybody is happy. Once this product will be proven in the next 8 to 12 months, it will be a game changer at a worldwide level.
Florian,
This
just
is my
you maybe you said it, but is your movie the first movie funded through blockchain?
No, there was other movies, but not fully funded. First of all, not fully developed and advertised in the festivals and with the networking at such scale that we have. We speak about hundreds of big screens already in pre-sales, discussing with them, more of them to be attached. It's a whole business behind, based on especially networking, visibility, reputation, and scalability. There has been a couple of other movies, but limited success. So it's debatable. Again, it's debatable. This is my personal view. Maybe it's overhyped. I guess time will tell,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if it's overhyped. We see people from the real estate business coming to blockchain because they see a way to disrupt their industry and make it more effective. To me, what you're doing as a professional filmmaker, it makes a lot of sense. If you are convinced that you can better the business model of the filmmaking industry, and you manage to prove it and to do it, yeah, of course, it's a great win for you and also for the blockchain ecosystem, for the technology, and also for the filmmaking industry. So all the best. let's regroup in 1 year.
The premise is simple. With any profits from real world, we buy gold, we tokenize it in the form of gold stablecoin, we increase liquidity on the blockchain, and by doing that, we provide more stability and scalability for the whole DeFi ecosystem with more funding and generating more profits that we buy more gold, increase more liquidity, and so on and so on.
Thank you very much, Florian, for all your questions. Now I think things are clear about Demiourgos Holdings and all these companies and projects that you're building with your team. I think you need to leave, but you will come back after, correct?
No, I already had the meetings. I will be here with you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. So let's start this discussion about sovereign charts with Robert, and of course, stay with us if you have any question. Just raise your hand, so it's easier for us to moderate this discussion. Robert, how are you? First of all.
Hello, everyone. I hope that I am not. I don't have echo issues. I haven't changed anything with the setup.
I'm afraid, yes, the echo is still here. It's not very pleasant, to be honest. Can you maybe change device or
Yeah,
change?
I will change to my phone.
Yeah.
One second.
Thanks a lot. Sure. You have many questions, Arno and Joachim, for Robert?
Yeah, we do.
Yes,
we've been preparing this for weeks now.
Yeah, I listed 18 questions from you guys, from the community, from the MvX Club Privé. So yeah, we have many questions. I hope we'll be able to answer all of them, or at least most of them.
Hello everyone. I hope it's working.
Yeah, it's better. It's way better. Thanks a lot.
I just don't understand. So it's like Twitter or some new update changed something, because everything should work.
It's always better on the mobile.
I have like a studio microphone set up, so it should be better from
Okay.
the laptop. But I think something changed on Twitter, so it's like
Okay.
that's
So
it.
let's start this. It will be like an AMA, Robert. Okay, so I will ask you different questions, and I will let you the time to answer, because I sent you a message 2 weeks ago asking for you to come on GMMVX, because we had so many unanswered questions, and you told me I'm at ETH Denver, so it will not be possible last week, but will possible on March 6th. So how was ETH Denver, by the way, before we start?
It was a pretty long week. We tried to go to all over the places, to multiple as many events as possible, and to speak with people. Clearly, there are like two kinds of people right now, at least two kinds of people right now in the ecosystem. And one of the big problems I see, and one of the things I tweeted out, was that people don't understand the basic underlying technology in which they are building. They don't understand what are the problems with the modular design, or what what they lose when they go to L2. Everybody's running in this wagon of 10,000 plus L2s, when most of those projects would better sit in a scalable L1, be it MultiversX, be it Near, be it Solana, or anybody else. Like, they would have a better market fit, less cost for running the system, easier integrations and everything, but everybody is launching L2s in order to get
And
funds.
what about what about StartNet? Because we saw that you spent some time with Abdel from StartNet. He will be there with us next Tuesday in French. So how was the meeting with Abdel?
It was good. We learned more about each of others' technology, and we had a lot of discussions about like markets and people and security. One of the things is that they are maybe the only ones who care about user security when it comes to building on top of EVM, and that was a good thing to hear. How do we leverage each other's technology? It's not yet decided, so there will be more talks and more discussions between us. Actually, I will go to meet their team online in around 2 weeks in one longer AMA. And but in rest, the other type of people, there were a lot of people from Asia, developers from Asia, on ETH Denver, and they were really curious about technology, and they were really wanted to build multiple things on top of the best technology out there, not only going with the hype. And this was a little bit more reassuring than what is happening, for example, on US. US is running this kind of L2 bandwagon for now.
Okay, so thank you for this overview. Now let's start this AMA-like thing. Please, Robert, because we have many questions, please try to give short answers, at least like not too long, because if not, we will not have time, because we have 1 hour. So I hope we will be able to ask all of our questions, and you to answer all of them. So first, and they are not asked in the order because I just gathered them. So I will ask you, and maybe it will not be very relevant, but I will give you my answer, and you try to answer as quick as possible. First of all, is there a minimum number of nodes required to run sovereign shards?
From new specifications will come out, but in order to go, for example, for decentralization, I think a 20 will be a good start.
Okay. how are validators selected? Is there a whitelist, a queue system, or something else in place?
If you read about EigenLayer, we want to create a sort of factory smart contracts in which people can stake more EGLD, stake the other kind of tokens, which is needed for the sovereign shards. But it will actually depend on the sovereign shards how they want to accept this kind of validators. If they want to have a whitelist, then it's a whitelist. If they require to stake an NFT, then it's a stake an NFT. If it's require anything else, it will morely depend on them than on.
Very clear. Is it possible to seamlessly transfer ESDT from one shard to another?
Right now, it will be possible directly through the mainnet. So you will have to wait some time, but we are researching a little bit more on how to do it between each sovereign shards, but this will come later.
Okay.
Just Jerem.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if I hear this correctly, Robert, on the first iteration of sovereign shards, they transferring an ESDT token from mainnet to from main chain to a sovereign shard will be like a bridge, correct?
No, it will be like a cross-shard transaction.
Okay, so yeah, this is the kind of seamless, I think, in the question.
But what I wanted to say that we want, for example, if you have from sovereign A to sovereign B with the Guren design, it still will be seamless, but it will go sovereign A to main chain to sovereign B in a subsequent release, which I don't know if it will come this year, but maybe early next year, you will be able to go from sovereign A to sovereign B directly.
Go ahead, Joachim.
So when we're talking about transferring ESDTs from from the main shard, main chain to a sovereign shard, they won't be wrapped or anything. They will be considered as native tokens across the sovereign shards. And how do you guarantee finality if it's not the same set of validators that end the transactions on one chain and the other?
What do you mean by finality? Finality for the user?
Yes, because if let's say if I send USDC to sovereign shard A, and then I start using it on sovereign shard A to transform it to another token, then that swap on that sovereign shard was surely done with on that chain, and then validated only by the set of validators of the sovereign shard, not from the ones from the main chain. So how do I guarantee the finality that those funds are actually mine? Do those validators then communicate with the main chain?
Yes, actually, the main chain will act as a settlement layer and will act in certain cases will act as a data availability layer as well. This would mean that even if the sovereign shards will post proofs of execution, proofs of state in a compressed form to the main chain, and this will reassure everybody that their funds are safe here and there and everywhere.
Okay, that's very interesting. And that will be straight away from the alpha.
What? I couldn't understand.
I was asking if this will be from, I think you announced the alpha. The alpha will be the first version, and will it be live from the alpha?
The settlement layer will not be live from the alpha. It will come a little bit later.
So if I may just ask something, Robert, so the vision, in fact, with the sovereign shard would be more like to have instead of talking about layers, let's talk about something that is at the same level, and all the SDT and the finality of the transaction will be done at the protocol level and linked to the main chain. In fact, at least for the first phase, and then the sovereign shard will have the, let's say, the freedom to do whatever they want if they want to do that differently in the future.
I didn't get your question. So the sovereign shard will act as a shard with its own set of validators, and then in the first set, for example, in the alpha version, the user will have to trust those validators who are running the sovereign shard that his funds are deposited or kept correctly. But I do think that a lot of validators from the main chain will participate in the sovereign shard validation as well. So actually, in this sense, you are trusting the same validators in a smaller version, but on the sovereign shard as well.
But Robert, how about we have a sovereign shard and we have malevolent validators, and they send back, let's say that they create money out of thin air, and send it back to the main chain.
They cannot send. So if you send 1 million USDC, then you can send back only 1 million USDC. You cannot go over that.
So all the tokens can be created only on the main chain?
No, but tokens created on the main chain, those token IDs which are created on the main chain, whatever was sent out, that number of token can be sent back only, not new set of tokens. Tokens created on the sovereign chain, they can create whatever token they want and send back more, but the token ID will be not same. So sovereign A can create USDC, but it will be not the same USDC than on the mainnet.
But similar to when we've had bridge exploits on other chains, if a maleficent actor were to create infinite tokens, he could then empty that, like you used 1 million as example. They could then claim those 1 million that in theory aren't theirs to get them back, like traditional smart contract bridge exploits.
For that kind of exploit, all the validators from the sovereign shard will have to be malicious. Not all, but 67% of them.
Yeah.
And this is like for the first version. For later versions, as we add data availability layer and we add proof of execution and proof of, not only proof of execution, but proof of signatures and execution for every operation which happened on the sovereign chain. In that case, the validators on the sovereign, or the users on the sovereign chain will be even more insured about their actions.
Just another question. I mean, like, because maybe you didn't get my first one. To continue on this one.
And after I will continue the questions that we gathered. Please.
Sure,
Thank you, Philippe. Go ahead.
Sorry. For example, let's say that I create a sovereign shard with some validator that I can either all my own or some people that I include in the group, and we decide to create a token, in fact, and to force the ticker. So let's say that is possible. So my question, in fact, is like the generation of ESDT will be handled at the protocol level through the different shards, or it will be something proper to the different sovereign shard or to generate token, and then some bridges will be used. I mean, like, because the benefits of ESDT tokens, I mean, like, it's something that you defend quite a lot, and thanks for that. But it will be like the interoperability between the sovereign shard, but the gesture, the management, let's say, of the generation and of the transaction is done at protocol level. That is seamless through the different sovereign shard. I don't know how to picture that.
I get your question. So your question is that a malicious sovereign shard could mine a token ID, which is the same as the mainnet, And the answer is that no, they cannot do it because each of the sovereign shards will have its own prefix for the token IDs.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you, Robert. Another question is, in the event of a sovereign shard failure, are ESDT still recoverable on the main chain? This is a very important and interesting questions about something that we call the escape hatch. Is it correct, Arno? Escape hatch? No?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, okay. So is this something that we will find on MultiversX app chains or not?
Yeah, that's definitely not with alpha, but maybe with the beta version we will find it already. So we will create an escape hatch for the users, even if the sovereign chain fails.
Okay, very good. Another one is about how can the main network identify malicious shards that behave against principles?
In what sense against?
Well, the question is like this. If it's not clear enough, let's go to another one, or maybe Arno or Joachim. Maybe I don't know who asked this one. Maybe it was Foudre, or maybe it was one of you, because this questions was part of the team once.
It is not mine.
No, but from what I understand, we've kind of talked about it already when Robert said that in a later phase there will be main chain finality, which would protect against maleficent validators, but because of the proof of transaction. But at the first stage, we would need to trust the validators of that sovereign shard only.
Yeah. So we will go into the main chain to be a settlement layer, and then everything will be, let's say, secure for the user. I hope this answers the question.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it does, Zero.
The settlement layer on the mainnet, I think, respond to that earlier.
Okay. Can the X portal KYC be utilized through sovereign shards for gaming, administration, and so on?
So you would like a sovereign chain in which you get people only with KYC? If yes, right now I don't think that the KYC is that expandable, but there are like there are ideas in which the proofs of KYC to be written on chain, and then that information to be used by any system who wants to tap into it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, where is the documentation located and why is it not public yet? While initial discussions on Agora are fine, what is the reason for the current secrecy? Before you answer, I will put on the comment section the two articles about sovereign shards, part 1 and part 2. So if people wants to dive in, they will be able to. And so now I let you answer.
The idea is that first we have to have an agreement at the team level on how the development and how the things we wanted to work, how will they work. And secondly, before writing documentation, we would like to have the, let's say, the alpha version running on our testnets in a clear form. Then we can start to add documentation, because then we have like for the first set of things, we have a clear view of how things are happening. So that's the main reason for not necessarily secrecy, but let's say alignment in the team first, coding second, documentation after. And some new papers about sovereign shard economics should get out as soon as possible, but it still needs internal reviews and internal alignment on the team.
Okay, so maybe things can change until the final release.
Not necessarily change, but additions will come in order to make it even more better for everybody, for the main chain and for the sovereign chains as well.
Okay. How can fees be paid? It can be in EGLD, ESDT, MEX, or maybe other currencies, maybe from other blockchains ones or not.
Gas fees will be paid with the token the sovereign sovereign shard will set up. In case of Midas, I think it will be Euro. In things of one, I think it will be the one token. But others can launch even payments with USDC if they want.
Okay. Okay. The sovereign shard economy benefits ESDT tokens through the double staking requirement. How does it also benefit EGLD token, especially if EGLD is no longer required for transactions fees on shards? And that's a very interesting question because we can take the analogy with Cosmos token that is less useful now because all the options are giving utility to their own token, and so the cryptocurrency token is less useful, less used, and so the price is like a stable. So what do you think about this DeFi for MultiversX?
So there are a few things which will happen because of the sovereign chains. One of the things is that there will be more transactions. So if the sovereign shards are successful, those success will go into the main chain as well, and a lot of the applications from the main chain will be used. But let's say that is not a direct answer of how EGLD will be used. EGLD will be needed from our perspective to launch your own sovereign chain, sovereign shard, and depending on how much your sovereign shard is growing, at some point the requirements for EGLD to be staked should be growing as your success of the sovereign shard it is. These are some information which are, let's say, not completely reviewed by the internal team, but they are some of the ideas. Then as the main chain becomes the settlement layer, and the data availability layer, here is like a discussion because I don't think that it has to become the data availability layer. Just some snapshotting needs to be done and saved on the main chain to recover stuff. Then it means that the sovereign validators will continuously post blocks on the main chain, and if you look at on Ethereum, Arbitrum is using around $500,000 per day only to post the blocks, which contains mostly the settlement layer stuff. Optimism has some less cost, like 400,000 per day, and the others are around between 10 and 50,000. The other L2s. These are in dollars, but as we are a scalable chain, posting this kind of data per on chain will not cost this many amount. Right now, I computed with some around 3 to 4 EGLD per day, but these are yet only internal computations, and they might change. So being on a sovereign shard, sovereign shards will make more EGLD to be staked. These EGLDs, let's say, will get out from the chexes or the open liquidity. Then sovereign shards will post blocks on the main chain. This will use more EGLD as gas, so it has a compounding effect. And the more users sovereign shards will have, the more users the main chain applications will have as well.
Yeah, Arno, go ahead.
Just one thing I wanted to add, and yeah, Cosmos made a mistake that they did not put Atom at any point, and they didn't become like the central hub of where some applications could be running. We see right now that Osmosis is coming somewhat as a central hub, as there is the liquidities and the pools. So I
Robert, we can't hear you anymore. Is it the same for you, guys?
Yep.
Let me write him in DM. We can't hear you anymore. He will come back, of course. What do you think of the answers so far? Is it clear? Is it it was necessary, by the way, to have these answers?
Yeah, it was, and it is. And I think there's also each answer has, each answer from Robert could raise 5 more questions to go more in depth. So we try to behave, but no, it's interesting to unwrap some of the questions that we start to have, and we know that once we will see the first implementation of sovereign shards, we will have more concrete things to discuss about.
Robert,
sorry, I
please.
think I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. Thank you. So please finish your answer, and after Arno will have a question for you.
I think that as the main applications are in the mainnet, like Osmosis is becoming somewhat a hub for all the IBC chains, and everybody is trading there. This makes that all the users somewhat are connected to the main chain as well. And the more users there are in the sovereign chain, the more users will become on the main chain as well. So that would be like the last point.
Yeah, so to you, sovereign shards are also going to play a big role in the network effect for the main chain and the overall MultiversX ecosystem.
Exactly.
Okay. We have a side chat Telegram, and some say that you already answered the question, but I want to shoot you the question. Where will be the history and state information of each sovereign shard stored?
So if a sovereign shard decides to to use the main chain as a full data availability layer, then they will post all the data and all the state changes on the main chain. So from the main chain, everybody could rebuild everything from the start. And that's how it is done, for example, on some of the L2s. If they choose that only snapshots are given out, then people can recreate the data from the snapshot and the compressed data of the state changes between those. I don't have a strong opinion on whether all the data from the sovereign shard should arrive to the main chain as well, as even if it is, let's say, in a compressed format, because then why use sovereign shards? I think that the settlement layer would be far enough. And then when you add validity or execution proofs for everything, what's happening on the sovereign shards, then it should be enough, and not all the data which was posted on the sovereign shard. Then it doesn't have to arrive on the mainnet as well.
I think we have this debate now because of the L2, the cost explosion about saving the state on the L1, and I don't know how we will perceive and how the trust will be built with sovereign shards in the future. But right now, of course, the most trusted layer is the MultiversX main chain. So we have a way of thinking that is more going towards, okay, how will you store and how will you, create the infrastructure so that you have maximum trust with your users? And for now, it's going and saving everything on the MultiversX chain. But you're most likely right. Let's see how things play out in the future.
I do think that sovereign shards will become so big that they will have their own trust assumptions as well. So as there are like no administrators and no multisig and no stuff like that, once sovereign shards will reach, let's say, 100 validators which stake enough eGold and stake enough of the sovereign shard token, they will have a bigger economic security than most of the chains out there. I'm not looking at the top 20, but from top 100 down. So you will have a bigger security. And if you think about that, you add the settlement layer is on the main chain. So all the funds and tokens are safe. Then I don't think that every, let's say, NFT created on a game chain has to appear and saved on the main chain as well. Then why would you have a sovereign shard?
Yes, very clear.
In that case, would you expect then a different, because as you said, like the tokens, like the value, the monetary value should always be protected by the main chain. But would you expect then that if you, let's say you're creating a sovereign shard specialized in gaming, creating a new standard that is not the regular USDT standard, so it's not getting written down on the main chain to not take as much block space?
In what sense? I don't get your question.
You were saying that, for example, if we were to take the example of a game and there would be a lot of NFTs, we don't need those NFTs to be stored on the main chain too.
But I was thinking about like the NFT attributes and metadata and everything around that, not the value, Like,
okay, so the ticker for
the
you,
pictures or the video or whatever. Yeah, everything around. Or the inscriptions, let's say, on the game. Because on a game chain, I think that you will not use an IPFS. You will actually inscribe on your own chain the NFTs. You don't need to go to IPFS.
That would be the dream, right?
Yeah, at least you would inscribe on your own chain, and then those kinds of inscriptions doesn't have to appear on the main chain. The value have to appear, and because I do see that
you could transfer the ownership of the ticker through the main chain and get data settlement layer, but all the information related to that NFT would stay on the sovereign shard.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, thank you. Let's go for another one. Yeah, what's the cost to open a sovereign shard for the issuer?
These numbers were not set, but I think that it will, one of the estimates, it will be to start from, let's say, 100 eGold and get bigger as the number of as the usage grows.
The what?
As the number of validators and the number of transactions and the number of, let's say, token transfers happen.
Okay, so like a kickoff fee of 100 DavyEgld, and after it can be modulated through the predictable, non, comment on dit, prévu, planned activities?
Yeah. I think that it should be somewhat, let's say, a linear type of growth for the requirements of how much EGLD has to be. I do not see this as paid, but as staked. So the minimum requirement to be staked.
Okay.
And do you see, because in the future,
Philippe has raised his hand.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, sorry. Philippe, is it the same question?
But go ahead, Arno. Go ahead.
Yeah, it just answered it at the end. I was wondering if it was kind of a yearly payment.
Mine
Not
is
at
really
the
a
same
follow-up.
times, please. Okay, so Arno and after Philippe. Go ahead.
Okay. So Robert, do you see, as the value of EGLD should grow over time, the barrier to entry of 100 EGLD, especially if it grows in the future, could become a burden, that not many people could afford. So do you foresee the possibility for the community to lock those EGLD similar to parachains in the Polkadot ecosystem a few years ago?
Yeah, I do see that, and I do see that if the prices or if the value is changing for the EGLD, then these kinds of values are changeable by governance. And all those who want to participate and they see that it has to be reduced, then it will be reduced. And I think that it should be somewhat a number between, depending on how much TVL is in each one of the chains. So it should be, it's a rough estimation, but or rough look to it, but it should be around your TVL in one chain somehow shouldn't be, let's say, 10 times or 100 times bigger than how much you stake on that chain, for that chain. So the economic security of your chain should be somewhat higher or not so low compared to your TVL on the chain. I am speaking about DeFi TVL here.
Okay. Philippe, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just regarding the cost for start a sovereign shard, you talk about 100 gold, but more specific, it's like 100 gold that I will pay to the protocol itself on the mainnet. Is it something that I will have to stack somewhere on the mainnet, maybe to a legacy pool? I don't know exactly, or it's something that need to be distributed through my validator as an amount of token stack to be legit on the network, or for pay the fees maybe.
All your validators of the sovereign shard can put together and stake this amount together, or let's say if you have 10 nodes running, then when each of those stake 10 EGLD down, then you have that 100, which is required for starting the sovereign shard.
Okay, so it's not really a payment. In fact, it's just
staking.
It's just a proof of stack. Yeah. Okay, nice.
Okay. Next one is about what is the validation time between sovereign shards?
Validation time, they can set up any kind of block time they want. We tested with 1 second blocks, as low as 1 second blocks, but people can set up as the number.
Okay, very cool. Okay, another question. Okay, so I will ask you like this. Why aren't all build-related information publicly available? Why do certain projects have access while others don't? Wouldn't it be more logical to open it to everyone to challenge this technology?
Like the development is open. We are working on open source branches on GitHub. It's feed chain Go SDK on the MultiversX main repo. And then there are the sovereign bridge smart contracts, which are actually not bridge, but let's say sovereign contracts. And about like public information of the sovereign, we write on Agora and then we release the papers after the internal team have agreed on the numbers. People who want to build and have special requests for building, they can at any time contact us, and actually we have like a common Slack channel where we invite builders, and then all the information between those builders and their questions are public. In that sense, we wanted to have, let's say, a curated Slack channel for this in order for builders to be together and discuss more deeply on their needs.
Okay. Thank you. Can there be negotiation for an airdrop system for EGLD stakers if a sovereign shard is open on the network, similar to Atom? This could potentially attract more people to the network. And I will add this to the question, and it can add one more utility for EGLD, because by holding a GLD, you're eligible for airdrops from people that will launch a sovereign shard. What do you think about this?
I do not know how to think about airdrops and how big of their value or they bring in. I do see that this can happen if one sovereign shard wants this to happen. I don't think that it has to be obliged by the, let's say, from the code. So it's the decision of each of the sovereign shards to do this. I do see some network effects of, let's say, good airdrops, but there are a lot of bad airdrops as well. I do think that better distribution models than airdrops are still possible.
Okay. Have any interested companies already approached them, and is there any information they don't want to spread yet? They is MultiversX, of course.
So we have a lot of information, a lot of internal development. Then there are some of the teams that are building on MultiversX, on the sovereign shards like Midas, OneFinity, then AshSwap. These are some of the knowns. Especially in US, I think we managed to discuss about 2 companies to build on the sovereign chain SDK as well. But this will come out later. And we have some ideas for maybe projects which could be launched on sovereign chains, and we might give those ideas out to builders to do it actually. So not the MultiversX team to do it, but we give out the ideas for others to create it.
Okay. Okay. What? Yes. We received a lot of questions about the relation between the sovereign shards and the MEX. So, what impact will there be on the MEX token?
Right now there is no discussion about MEX and sovereign shards.
Okay. Could sovereign shards be used by governments in a way that is secure for data and governments and transparent for citizens, like replacing France Connect, creating a citizen wallet, using voting, creating an alternative currency to the euro for specific uses? So, do you have any vision
Definitely
about
yes,
this?
yes, and yes. Definitely yes, yes, and yes. I do believe, I think from my tweets, do you see that actually blockchain have a set of primitives which are super powerful, like history, like authenticity, like no administrator, decentralized, uh, autonomously working systems. And everybody from the government, from the public space could leverage this kind of technology to give more value to their products. And actually, for the citizens, I think the citizens would have to should go and protest and request it, maybe. But yeah, I do hope that more and more governments will help, will get into these things.
Okay, maybe Romanian government.
Maybe them, yes, as well.
Okay, so it's over for our questions. So thank you very much for your answers, and it was short, so thanks a lot about this. We still have around 10 minutes, so if Florian, you have a question, or if anyone from the audience wants to ask a question, feel free to do it on the comment section. You can also raise your hand and come and ask your question directly to Robert, and maybe Arno and Joachim and Philip, maybe you have more questions for Robert. He's yours, guys. Okay, Arno, you can start.
Yeah. First of all, thanks a lot, Robert, for this overview and answering our questions. We had many discussions now on Gem MvX with people from other ecosystems, and you know that we are actively promoting the sovereign child solution, and we are questioned a lot. So that was great. Could you confirm that from the vision that you and the MultiversX team painted of sovereign shards and the reality, it is going to be sequenced over time? We hear you say alpha, beta, different set of functions that will evolve over time. What is the time span that you see sovereign shards reaching a point that you are fully happy of the infrastructure?
So all the upgrades which are coming will be, let's say, backward compatible. This means that even if people will launch with alpha, after that they can go to beta and the next versions. I do hope that for a lot of use cases, even for example for governments, alpha would be already enough, and they could launch it. I hope this responds to your question.
No, I would
No?
love to have a bit of a time frame, between alpha and beta, and is it maybe alpha is this year 2024, and do you foresee after a super rapid iteration? I don't know how you spread your
Right.
team across. Yeah.
So alpha should come out like pretty fast. The ESDTS guest feature is somewhat working on the testnet. We need some new. Still, some of the things have to be, let's say, rechecked and more tests to be added. But I do see that by late March or early April, we could have information about it. Then the beta should come, let's say, roughly 3 months after it. And then after that, whatever new code we have and new implementation we have in the mainnet, that will be translated into the sovereign shards as well. So sovereign shards will inherit those new functionalities. I do believe that, let's say, the settlement layer stuff will come with beta. It's possible. Then people should be fairly safe to use anything around it.
Okay. I have a follow-up question. Guys, if you want to ask questions, raise your hands, because otherwise I'll just keep coming at Robert. How about your development team? How do you spread the resources across the many, core products and infrastructure pieces that you are building? Do you have a sovereign shard team dedicated to it, etc., etc.?
Yes, we tend to create small teams for different products and different set, and we created one for the sovereign shard as well. We are around right now 4 people developing this, and then actually helping other builders as well to do their job, like helping Buildly to do the EVM, and also creating with depending on the partnerships and what kind of special code they need. We will get more and more people involved. We can get people involved from different teams depending on the needs and when something has to be launched. So as how we are set up in the MultiversX labs, we have team for protocol, team for virtual machine, team for smart contracts, team for sovereigns, team for API, completely separate team for X portal, separate team for web. And then, for example, sometimes when we create products which are like cross multiple teams, then we select one person from each of the team and create, let's say, a parallel team for a product until that product is launched.
If I may, I guess you're done. A little question also regarding X Fabrics. So it's something I don't really remember. I think it was last year around the X days. That X Fabrics will be used maybe to deploy and manage the different sovereign shard, maybe also provide a dashboard for the validators. Is that something going this way, or have been put on side until maybe after the alpha?
It will come 100% sure after the alpha, because we need to finalize the code in the protocol level before getting it integrated in the front end. But yes, it will. So the sovereign shard will be integrated into the X Fabric for all the validators to see it clearly.
Thanks.
The question that a lot of people have in mouth is when.
When what?
When
it's sovereign shards, it doesn't necessarily depends on us. It depends on the teams who are
well,
launching.
just a few minutes ago, Florian from Midas xExchange said that he was waiting for MultiversX team.
Yeah, they are waiting for the alpha release.
So when?
Of the alpha release, I would say in April.
April. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was February for the first. No?
Yeah, it was. It was that a lot of things are happening, and we had, when you start to code at one point, you see that more and more things have to be added. And
okay.
It's not like it's like we add 2 more features or 3 more features for the same thing. So it's like it will really happen.
Okay, so April is the new date. So Joachim, for the last question.
Yeah, and I'm going to be sorry, it's going to be a bit off topic, but it has to do with the Agora and MvX. You made a proposal about updating the NFT and SFT standard. Do you know if that is going to be coming in upcoming release, and do you have a timeline on that?
It will come with the release v1.7.5. So right now we are preparing for staking v4's release, which should be out in the next, I hope next 2 weeks. No problems were found, so it just needs a little bit more testing, and then we can go with staking phase 4. Then around 6 to 8 weeks later, we can come with release of v1.7.5, which will contain ESDT v2. It will contain relay transactions v3, batch transactions, new cryptographic functions in the VM. It will also contain new features as EGLD in the multi-transfer function, and some more opcodes for the VM in order to create even more complex applications with these.
Nice. Well, now I know what I'm looking most forward to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Robert, for this AMA. It was very, very interesting. Philip will do the job to gather all your answers so we can do a debrief, a summary of all what we discussed about today in English and in French. So thanks a lot, Robert, really, for this moment. Good luck for the rest, and let's have another chat soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Florian, also. And it was a pleasure to have you this morning. Keep building, and good luck for all what you do. Oh, maybe he's out. And yeah, so thank you everybody for jumping this morning. Thank you, Arno, Joachim, and Philip for your very, very interesting discussions with our guests. You can find the replay just after this space on the different podcast platforms, but also on X. So feel free to repost the 3D space just after. And yeah, see you next week for another MvX in English. We will receive Ahmed, CEO of Hatem. But not only, there will be a little surprise. I can't tell you everything now because us too can have soon. So have a very good end of week. And for the French-speaking people here, let's see you on Friday.